Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace and a pair of earrings today, and I'm going to use some of the beads and findings that came in the most recent bargain bead box, the one for June 2024. It's called the Sunken Treasure Collection. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go over everything that came in the box. I have a coupon code, it's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. And here I have the 8mm Mayfinite beads that came in the box. And here I have the 6x4mm crystal matte faceted rondelle beads. The color on these is teal, that came in the box. I have the bead caps that came in the box. This is what I'm going to use for my focal. I have one of the shell charms that came in the box, one of the Mayfinite beads, two of the spacer beads that came in the box. I've got a bail from my stash, two 4mm jump rings, and a piece of 22 gauge German style wire. I have my findings in here. I have a lobster clasp, two pieces of the chain that came in the box, a shorter piece of chain from my stash with bigger links that I'm going to use as an extender chain. I've got some 4mm jump rings, one 8mm jump ring, one of these little rondelle beads I'm going to hang off this ball head pin that came in the box as a dangle off the extender chain. I've got two 2x2 crimp tubes and two wire guardians in there. This is what I'm going to use for my earrings. I've got two of the shell charms, four of the Mayfinite beads, two of the bead caps, two of the ear wires that came in the box, and two pieces of 22 gauge German style wire. I'm going to use some Miyuki 11.0 galvanized, Duracoat galvanized champagne seed beads to space out the beads. I've got my bead stopper. I'm going to be using my soft flex beading wire and fine. This is 21 strand and the color is copper. I'll be using, I think, all my jewelry tools. I'll be using my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, both pairs of my crimping pliers, both pairs of my cutters, my flat nose pliers, and I've already used my memory wire cutters to cut my chain. And I have my little Neuralink shot glass to put my wires in when I'm done. I think that's everything. I'll try to post links to everything I can find links for in the description box below, everything that didn't come in the box. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, first I'm going to make my focal. I've got a piece of my 22 gauge German style wire. I'm going to take my pliers and go down about, this is about a 4-inch piece of wire. I'm going to go down about 1 inch. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the short piece of wire up here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Like that. And that usually stands my little piece of wire straight up. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold onto my loop. Bring this wire down. Wrap the short piece of wire around the long piece of wire about 3 times. And take my cutters, the ones that I use for craft wire and head pins and eye pins. I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take one of my spacer beads, my Mayfinite bead, and another spacer bead. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go to the very tip of the pliers because I don't want to have a very long neck. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Take the round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the beads. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the beads. And again, that usually stays in the middle of the wire almost straight up there. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold onto my loop. Bring this part down. I'm going to take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. And make sure to get that first wrapping under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. And I use these crimping pliers, the little half circles at each end there, to tuck in the burrs that are left there when I cut off the wire. And I wait until I get the whole link made before I do this. I know a lot of people go ahead and tuck in the wire on the first side when they make it, but it helps me to have those beads to brace against when I tuck in the wires. So now I'm going to take my 4mm jump ring, one of my 4mm jump rings, and open it, thread on my little shell charm, put it on my little link that I just made, close my jump ring back really well. I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring, open it up, put the top of my link on here, and add it to my bail. Close my jump ring back. Make sure to get it closed back really well. So that's going to be my focal. So hold on, I'll get my beads and string up. I'll string up half of it and then I'll do the other half off camera. So hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beads here and I'm going to string this up, and I've left my bead stringing wire attached to the spool. I usually do that if I know what my design is going to be. So I'm going to start with one of my little rondelle beads. I'm going to do an 11-0. And then I'm going to do one of my mayfinite beads. And I'm going to do a bead cap with, well, if I can get my wire through there. There's a hole in there, I promise there is. With the pointy side facing down. Like that. Now I'm going to do another mayfinite bead. Then I'm going to do a 11-0, a rondelle bead, 11-0, a mayfinite bead, a bead cap with the pointy side pointing down, another mayfinite bead, an 11-0, a rondelle bead, an 11-0, a mayfinite bead, another bead cap with the pointy side pointing down, another mayfinite bead, 11-0, rondelle bead, 11-0, mayfinite bead, a bead cap with the pointy side pointing down, Mayfinite bead, 11-0, rondelle. Now I'm going to put my focal on here, but before I do that, I'm going to put a couple of seed beads on here so that my bell is, I'm going to hang my bell over top of those seed beads so that it's not resting directly against the bead stringing wire. And then I'm going to do another rondelle. And that's half of my necklace. So I'm going to go ahead and string the other half just like this half. Just going to make sure to keep my little bead caps with the point pointing down. So when I get all of them strung on, I'll be back and we'll crimp it. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got this all strung up now. Now I'm going to crimp it. I've got my crimp tubes and my wire guardians out here. I'm going to take my wire guardian and put it on here. I mean my crimp tube. And now I'm going to put my wire guardian on here. Now I'm going to go down the other side of the wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. Hold my wires and keep them from being crossed. Try to hold them apart. I'm going to tuck my little wire guardian in a little bit. I don't want my wires to be crossed because when I crimp, I want both of my wires to land in their own little channel, and they won't do that if they're crossed. I'm going to go on this, use this part with the tooth here. Lay my tooth on top of my crimp tube and squeeze. That puts each wire in its own little channel. I'm going to go in here. These crimping pliers have 3 half circles on each side there. I'm going to go in the middle one. That's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. Lay my crimp in there. Squeeze. Give it a good tight squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to take my cutters that I use for bead stringing wire, and I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to push all this down and cut my wire off my spool. Now I'm going to crimp this side, so I'm going to take my crimp tube and put it on here. And my other wire guardian. Go back down the other channel of my wire guardian. Back into my crimp tube. Try to hold my wires and keep them from getting crossed. I like to go through a bead on this side to get my hands out of the way when I'm trying to crimp and to center my wire guardian over the last bead. I think I need to tuck this little wire guardian in a little bit too. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to my wire and hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire through. Now I don't want there to be any slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight either. And I usually leave it circled up like this, and that keeps it from being too tight. But I don't want there to be any gaps in it. I don't want you to be able to see any wire, and I want my bead caps to be in place like I want them to be. So now I'm going to take my pliers and use that part with the tooth again. Lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. This is where you need about 12 hands to do all this, but I'll lay my crimp on top of the crimp tube, or my tooth of my crimping pliers on top of the crimp tube, and squeeze. And now I'm going to turn it and go into that parts with a half circle again and go in the middle one. Squeeze. Give it a good tight squeeze. Now I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to get my chain and the rest of my findings and put on here. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got my chain and everything I'm going to put on here now. And this part, once I got it crimped and the wire guards on and everything, it came to about 10 inches. And then this part down here is about 2 inches. And my little pieces of chain are about 3 3/4 inches each. So I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put on my chain. And one side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back really well. Take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put on the other side, other chain. And the other side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back really well. Now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put on my lobster clasp. And this end of my chain. Close my jump ring back really well. Now I'm going to take, this is it's either a 7 or an 8mm jump ring, I'm not real sure. I'm going to open it up, put it on this side of my chain, and I've got a piece of extender chain, it's about 2 inches. I'm going to close my jump ring back. Close back really well. I don't think I got that closed back really well. And now I'm going to take one of these ball head pins that came in the box, and I'm going to put one of these little rondelle beads on here. I'm going to take my pliers and go to the tip of the pliers, bend it over, bend the pin over at a 90-degree angle, around those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, around those pliers facing me, bend the wire back till it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool, kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. I got a little crazy with bending that one. That one's, well, my loop is, I've got my loop all messed up. That looks awful. Let's see if I can salvage this. If not, I might have to get another one of these head pins. Let's see if I can. I'm going to bring this part down. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Not the prettiest loop I've ever made, but I guess it'll be all right. I'm going to take my cutters off my extra wire. I'm going to take these crimping pliers and tuck in a little burr. Now I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to open this link at the end of my extender chain and put my little dangle on it. Just thread my little dangle on there. Close my link back really well. So there's my little dangle, and there's my necklace. So hold on, I'll get my earrings, and we'll make a little pair of earrings, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to make one of my little earrings now. I've got a piece of 22 gauge German style wire. This is about a 4-inch piece of wire like those others were, that other was. Go down about 1 inch. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Around those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Around those pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. The short piece of wire under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this part down. Wrap the short piece of wire around the long piece of wire about 3 times. Take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take my one of my mayfinite beads, my bead cap with the point facing down, another mayfinite bead. Now I'm going to take my pliers, straighten things up down here, go to the very tip of the pliers, bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle, around those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Around those pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the beads. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the beads. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. Take my bent chain, or my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Make sure to get the wrap under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. Now just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burrs. Now I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Thread on my little shell charm and thread it to the part to the bottom of my link, which is I want my bead cap to be pointing down toward my shell charm. Close my jump ring back really well. Now I'm going to take my ear wire open it up, thread on my little earring, close my ear wire back really well. So there's my earring. So I'm going to go ahead and make the other one off camera, and then I'll be back. Okay, there's my first necklace and earrings set made with the beads and findings that came in the June 2024 bargain bead box called the Sunken Treasure Collection. I say the first because I know I'm going to make many, many more pieces of jewelry from this box. I'm always able to get many pieces of jewelry out of one bargain bead box. It's really a great box. I don't know anybody that gets it that's not just crazy over it. Everybody just loves the bargain bead box. It's just a really great value. And like I said, if you're not subscribed to the box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.